wise woman tradition of herbal medicine is people's medicine. It's self-reliant medicine. It's cost-effective medicine. It's medicine that puts us back in touch and in charge of our own health. It's preventative medicine, and it's medicine that gets us back in touch with nature. Herbal medicine, the wise woman way, focuses on keeping ourselves healthy. One of the primary ways that we do that is to drink nourishing herbal infusions. The wonderful thing about drinking nourishing herbal infusions is it doesn't require that you change your diet at all. You can eat exactly what you're eating, exactly as you've been eating, and add to it your nourishing herbal infusions. By adding these nourishing herbal infusions to any diet at all, you will begin to nourish yourself optimally. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look specifically. One of the nourishing herbal infusions that I especially like is stinging nettle. I make my stinging nettle infusion by drying the nettle. Actually, of course, I buy it already dried, as you will. I weigh out 1 ounce of dried stinging nettle. That's the equivalent of a quarter-pound of fresh stinging nettle. But the drying process has broken the cell walls, thus allowing the vitamins, the minerals, and all of the protein and other important constituents of the plant to go into the water. When the plant is fresh, that cell wall is intact, and it's very difficult to get the nutrition out of the plant. So we weigh out 1 ounce by weight of dried stinging nettle, put it into a quart jar, fill that jar right up to the top with boiling water, put a lid on it, and let that steep for 4 hours or overnight. For me, it's easier to do at night. Go to sleep, wake up in the morning, strain it out, squeezing the herb to get all of the good out of that herb, and then I have a jar of stinging nettle infusion. I drink that first thing in the morning. Sometimes I just don't have the time or the inclination to sit down and eat breakfast. My life can be pretty busy between the goats and the apprentices and the correspondence course students and the herbs that have to be harvested. So when I start my day with a big glass of nourishing herbal infusion, I know I've gotten the nourishment of a really good breakfast by drinking it. Some people say, well, wouldn't it just be better to go out and harvest some green plants and make a green drink? I actually don't like that, and I have some very specific reasons. First of all, I told you that when the plants are fresh, the cell wall is intact. So when we make a green drink, we aren't getting any vitamins, and we aren't getting any minerals, and we aren't getting any protein. Okay, we're getting some flavoring, and we're getting some coloring, and we're getting some of the sugar out of the plant, so that really makes us feel like we've gotten a lot of energy. But the truth of the matter is, it's just about as stimulating to make one of those fresh green drinks as it is to drink a cup of coffee. It pumps us up, and then it drops us back down a few hours later. Also, if you remember back to when there was contamination of the spinach, the very first person that died of that E. coli contamination in the spinach was a young boy whose mother had taken the spinach, put it in the blender, and mixed it up with some water and served it to him as a green drink. No one who ate the spinach cooked was affected at all. So if there's any pathogen in our food and we eat it raw in that way, especially for children, it's going to cause a worse reaction to those pathogens than if we had actually cooked the food. That stinging nettle infusion is my companion all day long. I may start the day with it, but I'm going to have some more with my lunch. I'm going to have some more in the afternoon. I'm going to have some more with my dinner, and I'm going to have some more before I go to sleep at night. I ask the apprentices who come and live with me to drink a quart of nourishing herbal infusion every single day. One way to do this, I say, is to not drink anything else until you've drunk your quart of nourishing herbal infusion. So if you're used to starting your day with a cup of hot liquid, then take your nourishing herbal infusion and heat it up. Have a nice hot cup of nettle. Nettle tastes very green, And if you would like it to taste a little differently than what I suggest, you should put a little bit of salt in it. If you like miso, a spoonful of miso in your nettle infusion first thing in the morning is a really wonderful way to start your day. You can drink your infusion warm or you can drink it cold. You want to start your day with a cup of hot infusion, that's a great way to go. My apprentice, B, really wanted her husband to start drinking infusion, and her husband, L, was not into it at all. One morning, he came to breakfast and he said, B, my coffee tastes funny this morning. And she said, L, I don't have time to mess around grinding your coffee beans and brooking that coffee for you. I bought instant coffee. Well, he drank it without saying much of anything. I bet you've already guessed that what B did was put his instant coffee in a cup of hot infusion. She said within a couple of weeks, L was feeling really, really good. And he said, is there something about that instant coffee that's making me feel so much better? And she had to confess to him what she'd been doing, and then he was willing to drink those infusions on his own. He filled up his thermos with infusion and dropped some ice cubes in there and took it to work with him. And he said when everybody else was having a coffee break, he'd have an infusion break. He really liked it because it allowed him to come home from work and be ready to do all of those chores at home too. The one that B gave Larry was oat straw. Now, most people really like Nettle because Nettle gives you a lot of energy and it makes your skin beautiful, and it's just great for your hair. But let me tell you the favorite thing that I've heard someone say about oat straw. I was teaching in California, and a woman in her 60s told us, she said, you know, after menopause, down there it was kind of like a desert, you know, camels and sand dunes. She said, I started drinking oat straw infusion. Well, talk about a change. It's now dancing girls and date palms down there. Everybody laughed, and I think a lot of people went out and bought some oat straw and started drinking their oat straw. Oat straw is the primary sexual tonic throughout all of Europe, especially in Switzerland. Avena, which is the botanical name of oat straw, is known for giving men, as they get into their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s, a lot more interest and a lot more ability to follow through. So it's not just date palms and dancing girls for the women, it's for the men too. The wise woman tradition of herbal medicine nourishes us fully, and nourishment is preventative medicine. We are looking at how to keep ourselves in the pink of health. We're looking for how to keep ourselves feeling really good on a daily basis, and drinking a quart that's 4 cups of nourishing herbal infusion is one way to really do it. You know, a cup of nettle tea has 5 milligrams of calcium, but a cup of nettle infusion has 250 milligrams of calcium. Nourishing herbal infusions from the wise woman way of herbal medicine, offering us green blessings.